will. Do, do, do. Just jumping right in. This time I was smart because well, I don't have it open, but I actually started opening the new Unity prototype project named Prototype 3. It says network error.
Alright, so let's get started with Prototype 3. Now I'm going to import the project files and set up my new Unity project, but since we've already done that, let me just open up Unity so that we can get going. Now I'm going to go into the Scenes folder underneath my project window, open up Prototype 3 by double-clicking on it. I'm going to delete my sample scene by right-clicking on it. Delete. Let me reposition my camera here. Oh, I'm on the other side. Okay, cool. So that looks like what's in our game view. And then last but not least, once I've had all of my assets imported, you can actually select the background object in the scene. On the right side, you'll see in the inspector for the background, this sprite renderer. Now a sprite renderer is a component that enables you to render or to see images in your game and in your environment. So in this case, we have this background image. So we use our sprite renderer to actually see that image in our scene. Especially when you're making 2D games, sprite renderers are particularly useful. If you have a character with items or they're carrying something. So with our sprite renderer, on the right, there's a little property called sprite, and you can see currently it's set to background town. All the way on the right side of the inspector, there's this little circle icon. It's a radio button, so you can actually click on it. And there are all these different options. So there's in fact actually 3 different backgrounds we can use, so you can select one that works for you best. I kind of like this forest scene. It's very natural. It's got a lot of bright colors on it. So now I can just close out of this window, and we have a background selected. Alright, so what you're going to do is open up the Unity Hub and create a new Prototype 3 project. Use the link below in the steps to download the project starter files. Make sure to open the Prototype 3 scene and delete the sample scene. And then you can select the background object in the hierarchy, and then in the sprite renderer component, you can go to sprite and select a new background image to use if you want to use the city, nature, or town background. So now it's your turn.
I'm going to switch it to this one. No. That's really cool. And just for fun, I'm losing my voice. Yeah, I like the city. Alright. And so, complete. Next one.
Cool, so we've chosen a background for our project, so we're good to get started. Now we need to give the scene a little bit of life, so we're going to
Still
add
not
a
showing
character for the player to control.
for some
So
reason.
in our course library, we have our
Let's
characters,
see.
and we have the choice between farm or
I do
town. So I'm just going to go
this.
with farm characters,
help?
and we'll just, I think that one
Maybe
looks
it'll
good.
show.
So we're just going to drag that into our hierarchy. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is
It's like,
we're going to
oh, I
rename
remember
this
now how to
to our
fix
player,
this.
just like we did with some of
I
our
gotta
other
change it
players.
from automatic to Windows.
And our farmer is kind of facing
Yeah.
towards the back, and that's not what we want to do at all. So if we just turn the farm,
Yeah, I wasn't listening to this at all.
then a background for a
Nope.
project.
Just
Cool. So we've chosen a background for a project, so we're good to get started. Now we need to give the scene a little bit of life, so we're going to add a character for the player to control. So in our course library, we have our characters, and we have the choice between farm or town. So I'm just going to go with farm characters, and we'll just, I think that one looks good. So we're just going to drag that into our hierarchy. Cool. So now what we're going to do is we're going to rename this to our player, just like we did with some of our other players. And our farmer is kind of facing towards the back, and that's not what we want to do at all. So if we just turn the farmer, let's just say like 90 degrees, so now it looks like the farmer's facing forward. Cool. Perfect. Awesome. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do, just because I know I'm going to need these later, is I'm actually just going to add a rigid body component now. And then I'm also going to add a box collider. And let's see where that box collider is. It's very small. It's on the character's feet, which is definitely not where we want that to be. So let's bring that up to about the center. And then we'll make that a little bit larger. We'll make the Z a bit larger. And then we'll just make sure that the Y is properly set up. Cool. Looks just about right. Okay, awesome. So now that we have our box collider set up on our player, one of the things that we're going to do is create another scripts folder by right-clicking on assets. And we're going to need a player controller script to actually move our player. And then we'll just make sure that we attach our player controller script to our player. Click on the player and make sure it's there. Perfect. So now what you're going to do is you're going to select your own character and add them to the scene through the hierarchy. That way they're at 0, 0, 0. You're going to rotate your character on the Y-axis, so then that way they're facing in the direction that we want them to. Make sure you rename your player character, add a rigid body to the player, and we're going to keep gravity on. Add a box collider and just make sure that the box collider fits within the character. And then you're going to make a scripts folder in assets and create your own player controller script. So now it's your turn.
so I'm just working away at it. Player controller. Tried to scroll to zoom in. And all right. There it goes. Wait, no, it didn't go the right place. Let's delete that. Come on. Right there. Okay. So, we're going to make the player jump at start. And this is what I need to focus on the most.
cool. So we have our player set up as much as possible for now. So in the past, we've commonly gotten just the game object or the transform component whenever we wanted to call any methods. But if we want to actually control the movement and the gravity of the player and all of that, we actually need to use a new way to get a component for our rigid body, because rigid bodies aren't something that are automatically on other game objects versus something like a transform, which is always on game objects. So we'll do that using our player controller script. So in our player controller script, we're going to create a new variable. I already know that I don't need this to be seen by anything outside of this class, so I'm going to name this private for now. And then it's actually going to be our rigid body. So this will be the rigid body component on our player, similar to how we had attached game objects before, but in this case, this is a rigid body. And we're going to just name this player RB for player rigid body. Now, versus something like transform, where we can already get access to our transform component, we don't automatically get access to our rigid body component because that's not something on every single game object. So in order to do that, we actually need to use something called getComponent. So if we take our player RB variable for a rigid body, and now if we assign that or set that to the component of our rigid body, so we use a method called getComponent. Now we have to use these left and right carets here, which is different than using parentheses to pass in parameters. Specifically, the left and right carets actually get you a type of something. So for example, in this case, we're getting a rigid body, but you could use these carets to find the type of anything. So if we actually want to get a collider, for example, that was on our player, we could do that too. So the carets are specifically for finding different things like our components that are on our different objects. Now we do need to close this with a parentheses because it is actually a call that we're making as a method. And we'll close that statement. And then just to test and see if this works, if we actually got that rigid body, we're going to apply a force to our rigid body. Now, because we're using a rigid body component, it already has a method called addForce. And you can think of this similar as transform.translate, but instead of moving something physically just using positions, we can apply forces to things just like we would in the real world using physics to make something move. So in this case, we're going to make our player move up just to see what happens. So we're going to use vector3 dot up. And we're going to amplify this by a lot, so we'll just multiply this by 100. And then we'll save. And now in Unity, if we look at our game view, when I press play, the character jumped very slightly. Let's see if we can make that a little bit more powerful. Let's set this to something like 1000. And we'll save. And now back in Unity, we'll press play. There you go. That's a lot of force. And then because he has gravity, the character falls all the way back down to the ground. We'll do that one more time. Woo! It's like he's so excited. Cool. So what you're going to do is going into your player
Yeah, I had to answer the door.
Player controller script. In your player controller script, you're going to make a private rigid body variable called player RB for the player rigid body. And then in your start method, you're going to assign that rigid body to our rigid body component using the get component method so that it can find the rigid body on the player. And then we're going to apply a force to that player so that we can see that they're actually jumping in the air using forces. Now it's your turn.
Okay. So all right. Minor distractions. Let's see, where is my Visual Studios? Now, I don't think it's being recorded. So, let's find something that that's display capture. I don't want to use that. Okay. Window, now I gotta make another window. Okay. Window. Window. There it is, window capture. Window capture 7. Lovely name. And it's going to capture this. Okay. Don't think it has to be quite that large. Since it's popping up and down, I'll just have it like this because I need to remember to minimize it. Yeah, minimized, not minimized. Now, minimize OBS. Minimize. And I want to see his code.
Now it's your turn.
Nope.
That player.
Pause that before it disappears. So, public class mono behavior. They have all those extra using Unity systems. They don't tell me to add it. So I was like, what is this? All right. So there's going to be right here the private rigid body, player rigid body. Rigid. That such a RB. Okay. It's not green. Right. So then player, oh look at that. Player rigid body equals get component. He called these carrots, it sounded like. I always called them greater or less than symbols. And rigid, I have been pronouncing it rigid. I guess, yeah, rigid. Rigid. It's just. The double I's throw me off. Rigid body. Wait, no, there's no space. That's nice. And then player. Wait, nope. They're gonna add force. There it is. There. No, I meant to just go over. There. And then that's just all the same. Oh, I didn't minimize. So that's it. They don't even ask me to test it. Okay, configure project settings for the input manager. The code you'll add in this project uses a system called the Input Manager to handle player controllers. If you're using Unity 6.1 or higher, your Unity project is likely set up to use a different system called the input system. To ensure the Input Manager code works correctly, you need to change a project setting to allow both systems to run side by side. Follow the video's instructions below. Okay. I think it has me do this every time. Both. Yes, it does have me do this every time. Okay. Right. Okay, play again. Edit. Where's that edit? Player. There it is. This one? Is it this one? Yes. Ah. Ooh. Oh, save, save, save. I had nothing saved. A moment of silence for my game. Alright, I think while that's reloading, I can move forward. Make player jump if spacebar is pressed. I should say is. If spacebar pressed.
Cool. So we're making some good progress. We've added the rigid body to the player so we can use forces. So when we press play, our player flies all the way into the air and then drops all the way back down. Now we're going to make it so we can use input from the player to actually control this jump. So if we go back into our player controller script, we're going to go into our update method and we're going to use an if statement. And in that if statement, we're going to check whenever the player presses the space bar. So using our input manager, we're going to get the key down. So when they press that key down, and the key that we actually want is going to be our space bar. So we're going to get the key code for that. And then I think it's just called space. There you go. And then inside of our if statement, now what we're actually going to do is we're just going to take our add force, cut it out of start, so that way the player doesn't just jump when it starts, although we could do that because that'd be fun. And in our if statement, we'll make it so that the player jumps whenever we press space. Now, one slight change that we can make to this to make it a lot more immediate when the player jumps is by actually changing our add force method just a little bit. So we're going to drop this back down to 100, we'll say maybe 10 for now. So you can see when we were originally passing in this parameter, we were just passing in a vector 3. But you can see when we added this comma that we can actually add in a force mode. And so we can actually apply different forces through this force mode. So, in fact, if we actually type in, oh, it auto completes force mode for us, which is pretty nice. So we'll just type force mode, and then we're actually going to apply an impulse force. Now there's 4 different kinds of forces that you can apply. There's a normal force mode, which applies that force over time. In this case, force mode impulse immediately applies the force that we want to apply. So in this case, you should see that player jump happen a little bit faster. So if we go back into Unity, if we go to our player and we focus on them, and then we play our game. Now when we press space, you can see that the player jumps almost immediately, and we in fact actually need less force.
I don't see my
because
player.
we're not trying to apply a force over time,
I
we're
should
just
have
applying that
tested
force
sooner.
right now. So immediately they get to 10. So what you're going to do is you're going to add in your own if statement to get the spacebar input. And then you're going to move that add force method from start down into our update method inside the if statement. And you're going to change the parameters that you're putting in so that it's a vector 3 up times 10. And you're applying the force mode as an impulse. Now it's your turn.
Okay.
And you're applying the force mode.
So let me just test this as is real quick. I do want to see how it jumps as it is. Oh, hello. Yeah. Oh, it came back down. And that was it. Okay. So now if input, oops, messing everything up. Input, get key down. So the key was pressed, and the key that we're looking for, we only care about is space. Then this. Now I'll just rewrite it. Player, rigid body, vector 3. Wait, no. Okay, yeah, the dot's after. And then up times 10. Why is it saying it's misspelled, or is it because it doesn't have the thing at the end? Oops. Why is it force? Oh, and then I removed this here. So they took this out completely. It just has get component rigid body. Don't even need the space. Save that. I wonder what would happen if I left it there. It would jump once. All right, test. Oops. What's wrong? Huh? Oh, a comma. Oh my goodness. See, it was trying to warn me. I couldn't see it. I was just looking at the word. Okay. Fingers crossed. Yes. All right. Play. And spacebar should do something. They're floating. They're floating. I gotta get them not floating. But hey, it's working. Oh wow, they keep going up too. Like they just shot up into the sky. Are they gonna fall back down? Oh, oh, I think I killed my player. Uh, Unfortunately, I didn't minimize my code, did I? Sorry. Okay, I'll do this one more time for fun. So I was like, oh, it bounces. It bounces. And I was like, what happens? Let's hit the spacebar a bunch of times. Where is it? What's gonna happen? Wonder- And I killed my player. Okay. Good thing about games, endless lives, right? Okay. So, focus. Um, might help if I'm actually able to see what I'm doing a little better. There we go. So what is this to do now? Did I already write this? Yeah, I already wrote this in there. Wait, wait. What am I minimizing? Okay. These match, right? Yeah. Okay, that's done. And saved. And now minimize this, right? And then this one. And I'm gonna save. Moving on. Tweak the jump force and gravity. Imagine that.
Cool. So we can make the player jump. Look so happy. I'd be jumping for joy right now. So what we're going to do is in our code, so you can see when the player jumps, we have this 10, which is a hard-coded value. We don't like that. So we're going to change this to a variable in case we want to change the amount of force we want to apply going up. So we'll make this public so we can see it and mess around with it. It's going to be a float. And then we're just going to call this jump force because it'll be the force of our jump. And we will set this to 10 for now so that way we can hold it. We're going to remove the 10 and call this jump force. Perfect. Now, one more thing that we're going to do is in our start method, one of the cool things that we can do is actually change the gravity of our physics. So what we can do is we can call physics. So this will actually get all of the physics in our game in Unity. And we can actually get gravity by typing .gravity. So it's a property of our physics. And then we can type in star equals. So if we hold shift on 8, it'll make that star. So that means multiply equals. And then if we type in something like our gravity modifier, this will be a variable that we'll set later. So we have this weird statement right here, and we've definitely seen a lot of interesting symbols, and this one is definitely a new one. So this is actually a shorter-hand way of saying physics dot gravity equals physics dot gravity times gravity modifier. So instead of saying this twice, which could both be really confusing and is redundant, we can actually just short form this by saying times equals. So this will be physics.gravity equals physics.gravity times gravity modifier. So we'll get rid of that statement because we don't need it. And we'll go into our variables and we'll set gravity modifier. So it'll be public so we can mess around with the gravity. This will be a float as well. And then we'll use gravity modifier. Cool. Now, when we go back into Unity, so you can see in our player, on our player controller script, we have the jump force and the gravity modifier. So when we press play, if we press space, our player jumps and they're still going. They're never coming down, just forever and ever into the distance. Maybe he might make it to space one day. So, actually, because we multiplied our physics gravity by 0, there's actually no gravity at all. What we actually want to do is, if we stop playing, and we'll bring our focus back on the player, and we don't want that view, so let's, there you go, reorient the camera. So if we actually want real physics, we'll set this to 1. So this will actually set it so that the gravity is what gravity normally would be. And now when we press space, the player should jump exactly as they did before. Cool. Now they're jumping a little slow and it looks kind of weird, so we'll actually, let's set this to like 1.5. And then we press space. There you go. It looks a little bit better. Let's see if we set the gravity to twice as much, and then we set this to like 15, and now we jump, and it's still a lot. But our player looks really happy, so, you know.
It's like if you
can't
add to
complain about
both
that.
sides, it's not going to change the scale.
So now what you're going to do in your player controller script, you're going to add a jump force variable so we can get rid of this hard-coded number right here. Down in our update method, you're going to make a gravity modifier variable so that you can set the gravity to be whatever you want it to be. And then in your start method, you're actually going to set the gravity of our physics system and multiply it by our gravity modifier so that we can change how much or little gravity there is in our game. So, now it's your turn.
All right, my turn. Wanna
Our gravity modifier.
look at that. Okay. I will try to remember to minimize this. So we're adding public, two things. Where is it? There it is. Public float. So a number we can adjust in the inspector. Just repeating for my own self. Jump force. We know what that is. Equals 10. The amount everything will multiply by. And then public, nope. Public float, another number. Oh yeah, is gravity modifier. Now, there. And then now down here, gonna tell the physics of this game that it's gonna do something different with gravity. Yeah, you're not doing what you thought you were gonna do. You're gonna do what I say you're gonna do. Gravity modifier. Okay. That's it, right? That's it. See, look how jumbled that is. Oh, did I add all that stuff? Wait, update. Void update? What did they change down here? Oh yeah, that is, wait. It doesn't look different. Hold on. If input key down key code space, player RB, add force, vector 3 up. Oh, no, it is it? It's a jump voice, jump force instead of 10. So that's what got changed. Right there. Mistyping everything. Okay, save. Minimize. And now, tweak in the inspector. Let's see. It should show up. What's that? What's that? What's that? No. What? Oh, yeah. That's not right. Just because of that. Well, also, I think there was another error. Okay. Minimize. What's this? Oh, I misspelled physics. Yep, I misspelled it. It doesn't exist. PHYSICS. Save. Minimize. Fingers crossed. Did it? Yes. Now, there it is in the inspector. So, I want to do gravity 3 off the bat. Just try that. Let's see. And they're still kind of floating. I never fixed their feet on the ground correctly. Oh, it's my collider makes them pop up because it's hanging down. I just saw them pop up. Now I know why. They didn't even look like they're okay. So jump. Yeah. Well, I think they do need more jump force. They need to jump higher than that. But then if I add to both sides, see what's the ratio. So this has like 7 in between the two. I guess just take gravity down. Oh, and I can play with this while it's in game. Does that affect it? Or did I just like... I definitely need to jump higher. I refuse to do exactly the same. There. 0.1. Just one off. It's kind of nice. Oh, I like... My player couldn't take it. Okay. Let's try that one more time. It was very fun though. Oh wait, is my player falling over because their box collider is so narrow? They're like topsy-turvy. Their rigid body maybe? No, the box collider is the body. Wait. Yeah, because this doesn't have any framing, does it? Okay. I'm gonna do this one more time. One more time. I'm gonna do 14 and 2 and see if they can stay on their feet. Okay, that's good. Okay. 14 and 2. Right. Now this thingy needs to be fixed. Okay, there we go. How do I get the bottom of it? No, come on. Give me this. It's not letting me. Wait. Maybe this will do? Can I? No, that's the whole screen. So, okay. No, that's the whole person. This thing. Okay. Is that what I need to do? Make it tinier? I don't think so. Oh my goodness, I just made it a flat sheet. Okay. I just realized they are like in the wall too. Wait. I'm right clicking. Isn't that what I'm supposed to? Why? Why won't I move? This is so weird. Okay. Player needs to move. Grab that little red. Okay, that's better. Much better. So it's like, okay, now it's moving. That was weird for a minute. Left click was just doing that. Oh, wait, do I have to press A first and then left click? Oh, that's the difference, the timing. I just got lucky every other time. Okay. I'm messing myself all up. Okay. This. Maybe I need to. Why is this not working? Okay, just go under. That's how I can grab it. Finally! Okay, you know what? You can even have that off your feet a little. Let's see if I can get out from under the ground now. I'm terrible at this. Is that enough? Body? How can you? It's so hard to tell. I think that's good enough, right? Yeah. Let's let their head count. Double check. Yep, I did that on this section. And now let's see. Oh, they're actually standing on the ground now. Sorta. Actually, no, now they've gone into the ground as much as that thing is. So it really, really matters where it's at. Okay. Why? Did it change color when it went under? No. It's just because I'm holding it. Why is it? Well, I think that's going to be as good as it gets. Let's try that. They sink into the... Good enough. Save. Alright. Prevent player from double jumping. we gonna do? Look to see if they're on the
So,
ground?
we've made it so that our player can jump in the scene and they look so excited. Look at them go. But a funny little thing that you can do is because we're just looking for whenever the spacebar is down, the character just goes up. In fact, if we just keep pressing spacebar, our player will just fly off into space. It's very fitting. And then eventually they'll come down.
What? Why did I do that? I hope it's not messing up on me.
So, we've made it so that our player can jump in the scene and they look so excited. Look at them go. But a funny little thing that you can do is because we're just looking for whenever the spacebar is down, the character just goes up. In fact, if we just keep pressing spacebar, our player will just fly off into space. It's very fitting. And then eventually they'll come down. But I think we've actually applied too much force. So, we need to actually fix that, and we'll have to use some of our coding skills to do so. So, in our player controller, we're going to create a new variable. And this one will be public so we can see what it does. And we're going to use something called a bool, which is short for Boolean. We'll get into that in a bit, but for now we'll call it is on ground so that we know the player is on the ground. And we're going to set this equal to true. Now, a Boolean value is another kind of data type. Just like an integer is for whole numbers, floats are for decimals. A bool is simply a value that holds true or false. This is particularly useful whenever we have our conditional statements that are trying to check if something is true. So what we can do is, in our if statement, we can actually add some code in here. So, for example,
So
when
it's
the
like,
spacebar
I only
is
want
down,
yes or no
this
answers.
condition is true, and it'll add the player force to make the player jump. We can use two ampersand symbols, which if you hold shift and press 7 twice, this means and then if we type is on ground, so this means that whenever the player is on the ground and whenever they press the spacebar, we'll then apply that force to make them jump instead of letting them be able to fly off into space. One more thing that we're going to add in our if statement is when the player jumps, we're going to set is on ground to false. So now in our update function, we'll know that when the player jumps, they're no longer on the ground, and so therefore, because is on ground is false, this entire statement will not be true. And so it won't let you actually jump again. The only downside is that we never actually set is on ground back to true. So
Yeah.
we're actually going to use our collisions again. So since we have a collider on the player and we have colliders on the ground, we know that when the player touches the ground, that they've entered the collider box for the ground. So if we type private void
Real quick, this has a
on
collider box, right?
collision,
Right? Yes. Okay, good.
enter, and conveniently, Visual Studio auto-completes for me the entire method, so I don't have to write all of that out myself. So whenever the player enters a collision with something, now we can set our is on ground to true. Now, if we save this and we go back to Unity, and in our scene view, we'll bring our focus back to the player, and we'll get a better angle. There you go. So we can watch this is on ground variable down here, this Boolean. And right now, since it's true, it's checked off. We know we're on the ground. And when we press space, is on ground is unchecked. When we land back on the ground, is on ground is checked. So It's another good reason to jump for joy. Cool. So now what you're going to do is you're going to create your own Boolean variable called isOnGround, and we're going to set that to true. In our if statement, you're going to use two ampersand symbols. Remember, hold Shift and 7, and then you're going to add isOnGround, so that way it's another statement that also has to be true within this if statement. When the player jumps, you're going to set isOnGround to false. And then using our colliders, we know when the player's on the ground and when they're not.
Oh.
So you're going to use the onCollisionEnter method, and then you're going to set isOnGround back to true when the player collides with the ground. Now it's your turn.
Okay, wait. I want to see this. Nope. Was that the last thing? Okay. It's always like...
Method.
Doop. Okay. So... They got... This is kind of nice, too, seeing that. But... Oh, there it is. Void start. I'll just do it from the notes. So, it's a bool. isOnGround equals true. Okay. Now, if goes before, wait, no, they're changing this if statement. And isOnGround. Right here. Double and. Like, you better look. Is... That was nice. So... Then... Just another little line down here. isOnGround equals false. If you're jumping. And those brackets are already there. And then this one. Right. Here. Private void. Whoa, my fingers did not. Collision, enter. Collision. 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 Okay. Huh. Is equals true. There. Let's look at this. kind of losing my voice almost. Okay, minimize. It's saved. No errors, hopefully. Oh, that's nice. So now we're gonna look for that toggle. There it is. I guess that's good. Now we'll check to see that it doesn't jump while in the air. Nope. So if I just hold this, if I just spam it, nothing's happening. Man, my person won't stay on their feet. It's hilarious. Okay, mark is complete. Okay, mark an obstacle and move it left. We've got the player jumping in the air, but now they need something to jump over. We're going to use some familiar code. Whoa, it just jumped on me. To instantiate, right? Or, oh, am I already mispronouncing it? Obstacles and throw them in the player's path.
Cool, so we've got our little character here in the forest, hopping along in the great outdoors. So happy to be outside, wild and free. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add some obstacles to make this a little bit more game-like. So we're going to go into our assets folder, go to our obstacles, let's go...
Can't help myself.
Huh. Kind of like this barrier. Kind of looks like a fence. So we'll go and drop this into our hierarchy. And we're just going to position this a little farther back. Let's put it at like the edge of the screen.
It's definitely smart to drop stuff in your hierarchy.
So now that we have our barrier,
not just on your scene.
You can see that it has nothing for components. So we're going to have to add some things like a box collider so that the player can collide with it. Cool, and we'll just resize this box collider really quick. So we've set up our box collider so that it looks really nice. Cool.
He totally cut how long that took him.
Now we're actually going to add a rigid body. So now this is an actual physical object in the scene that the player can actually run into and collide with, and it'll use physics, so it might topple over if you run into it. If you notice, we actually didn't check the is trigger box on the box collider. That's because this isn't actually a collider that will have us destroy the object or anything. It's just so that we know when we run into it. And then we're just going to rename this barrier, this fence really quick, and we're going to call it obstacle. Now what we're going to do is in our assets folder, we're going to make a prefab because we're going to use this again. So we're going to make a prefabs folder. And then we'll take our obstacle and we'll left click drag it down into prefabs. So now we'll make an original prefab. And here you can see that we have this fence saved. And now that we have this prefab saved, we're actually going to make it move in the scene. So we're going to make a script and we'll call it move left. Very simple name because it'll just make things move left. So now we'll take the move left script, apply it to our obstacle, and then just make sure that we override our obstacle to apply to all of our prefabs. And
that's such a great thing.
In our move left script, we're just going to open it up really quick. Now inside of our move left script, we're going to create a variable for speed. So this will just be private, and it'll be a float, because we can always just edit it inside of our code later. We'll call it speed, and we'll set it to 30 for now. And then we're actually going to move this using our transform.translate once again, instead of trying to use physics to move a fence. So we'll just transform, translate like we always do. And then we're going to move it to the left since the fence is to the right of the player. So vector 3 dot left. We want this to move over time instead of moving every single frame. So we'll use time.delta time. And then we'll move it at the speed that we set. And then if we save, so now in Unity, when we press play, our fence flies at a really fast speed at the player, and I think it's just flying off in the distance. There it goes. So we can always change the speed of that to something less later. What we can do for now is, because we're actually making it look like the player is running, we're actually just going to move everything around the player to make it look like they're running. So if we actually take this move left script and we apply it to our background, this now creates the illusion, when we press play, that our player is running through the scene.
Oh my goodness.
Even though, in fact, the player's not moving at all. You're going to make the player look like they're moving. So what you're going to do is grab an obstacle from the obstacles folder, create it, make sure that you add a box collider, a rigid body. If you want, you can even add the move left script now.
I kind of like this one.
Scripts folder.
This is fun.
And then you can create your prefabs folder, drag the obstacle down into prefabs.
Can you come over here,
and then
please?
your move left script, you're going to give it a speed. So just set it for 30 for now.
We'll move it my way.
In your update method, you're just going to
reset?
Move it through translating the transform. So we're going to move it to the left over time at a certain speed. And then a nice little effect that you can do is on your background, you can actually add the move left script. So then that way when you press play, it looks like the player is moving to the right, when in fact everything else is moving to the left. Now it's your turn.
And box collider. Just gonna look at the instructions. So we added the obstacle and rename it obstacle. Oh, there we go. Obstacle. And then rigid body, box collider, then edit the collider bounds. Oh yeah, that one. So it's here, this thingy. We meet again. And why is it under there? I can't grab it unless I go under there too, which is not fun to maneuver. To go through the ground, to look at this thing, get a perspective I can actually, yeah. Okay. So, why is everything ending up under the ground? I probably have my plane at the wrong place. I'm not changing that now. Nope. Oops. Okay. There we go. Out of the floor. I'm not in the underworld anymore. Okay. So we made that and gave it its stuff, but not the script, right? It wants that script on there. Where's like the prefabs, move left? It's not even mentioning the script here. I mean, it wrote it. But, okay. Scripts. Am I not seeing where it says make the script? Move left. Oh no, there it is. As soon as I said move left to myself, I see it right there in front of me. move left. Wish I could copy paste that. Okay. So it's not going to be in the inspector, so it's not public. Oh wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong line. It is numbers of the speed that equal 30. Why is it so angry at me? What did I do wrong? Oh, because it doesn't know what speed is? Well, I'll tell you, just hold your horses. You're going to be updating it. Was I supposed to have attached the empty script to the item? Would it matter if you are writing script? I mean, it doesn't, I don't know. How much does Unity recognize that association for what the script has been put on? Delta time. I remember when I first learned what delta time was, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Probably should have known that sooner. So it's still just really angry. Okay. All right, I get it. So create script, apply it to obstacles, open it, and they want to apply it to obstacle first. Let's just do that now. Okay, it's on the obstacle. What? What is wrong here? Let me see theirs.
Translating the
Oh, okay, I see it. There we go. Yeah, that's why I like looking at this. Their actual screen. I know it's buried on y'all's view. Sorry. Okay, save. And see? Oh no, still time. Time doesn't exist. Huh? What? How? This font makes words look so weird sometimes. Like right now, that does time looks like the weirdest word in the world. Um, huh. What? Wait. How? Like, time does not contain the definition for. Okay, wait. That's not what's misspelled. I think I missed an A. Yes, I did. So delta was misspelled. Let's see what that fixes. Transform does not contain a definition for translate. Probably. Yep, there's an S missing. Hey, Crimson. How are you doing? transform, translate, vector 3, left. Well, let's see if there's any more typos. Yay! So, okay, so move last script, write the code to translate it to the left according to the speed variable, and then apply the moving script to the background. All right, so now I can just take this script here and put it on the background, and that's good. It's good to relax. Don't overdo it. So I'm gonna save this, and then I'm gonna play it and see if everything just shoots away. Oh my goodness. It doesn't really look like they're... Wait a second. Wait a second. Let me see this real quick. Got to go. I'll see you next time. Enjoy. Thanks for popping in. Okay. So, wait a second. Mine's facing that way. I guess the simple fix, I'll just move my character and turn him around. I didn't even realize. I just now realized. They're... Here, let me minimize this. You guys can't see anything, sorry. So, my character's facing to the left, and their character's facing to the right. I suppose I could go in and change the directions of code, but I'm just going to turn my little character around and put him on the other side of the obstacle. That is so funny. I can't believe I didn't notice that till now. Okay, I want to see this. So I'll just move him here. This is so funny. This is so funny. It's like just the funniest. It could get no more funny than it is right now. Let's see. Okay, so I'm at the right end of it. At least I'm not way at this end. And now let's turn them around. So funny. I still can't believe it. There we go. So, and one more thing I'm gonna do real quick, I guess. Just make sure. Whoops. I'm trying to do that. Yeah. I guess I want them to be just a little over. So they're actually, yeah, they're actually gonna hit it. They're on the same line. All right, so let's test and see how this looks. I want to save real quick. Okay. They do look like my character. There's just... What the heck? Why do they keep falling? Oh my gosh. I love it. I absolutely love it. Nothing to fix here. Okay. It looked like it was going the right direction. It was going really fast though, in my opinion. Like, flying by. Let's see one more time, and then I'm gonna probably slow it down. Yeah, that's like a blur. Maybe like half that speed probably. Watch my character flop. Oh, that now they're landing. Oh, now they're doing good. Oh, nope, nope. They can't stay on their feet. All right. Now I'm gonna change the speed here to 15. Let's just see what half of it is. Whoa, no, that would be way more than 15. Okay, and save. All right. Let's see how fast this flies by. Huh? Oh, that's better. Yeah. It's still kind of uncomfortable to my eyes. So I think I'm actually going to slow it down some more. Sorry, I didn't minimize it. I just realized. Okay. Well, I spared y'all having to see that. It wasn't fun. Let's see, 10? Try 10. All right, you know what? Even slower. Let's do 5. And just like see what that does. Minimize. All right. I'm gonna try to jump it this time. See if I can actually jump it. Oh, also, I should like, okay, yay, I jumped it. And I stayed on my feet. That's kind of a nice. That feels like. What if I can get them back on their feet? I mean, I think it's a lost cause. Okay. Now, a mark is complete. Create a spawn manager. I knew this was coming. How many more of these? It's like 10. Okay, good. Just two more. Just two more sections. I thought I was going to do 2 units today. Nope. This. Okay, spawn manager, similar to the last project. We need to create an empty object spawn manager that will instantiate obstacles prefabs. Instantiate obstacle prefabs.
Alright, so we have it so that it looks like the player is running through the scene, when in fact everything is actually just flying at the player. So, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a spawn manager to be able to
Such a
create
weird
more
word.
obstacles that fly at the player. So to do that, we're going to go into our hierarchy, and we can just right click
Oh, wait,
and
wait,
create
wait,
empty.
wait. I messed up. I never made my prefabs out of the obstacle. Nope. No, I did not. Create a new prefabs folder. Nope. Nope. I didn't do things in order. Okay. So, let's just look at like this from one down real quick. I made the obstacle. I positioned it. I renamed it. I gave it the rigid body. I gave it the box collider. I edited the box collider. Prefabs. I just skipped that, went straight to code. Okay. I don't even have prefabs folder. So create folder prefabs. I'm gonna open it. Open it. And then gonna drag the obstacle into it. An original prefab, right? And then uh hmm. Well, it's already got the code, so I don't have to like do that apply to all. Let's see. I got my prefab. And then I got this create a new move left script, apply to the obstacle, open it, write the code to translate it to the left, and then also apply that to the background. So now I think all my boxes are checked for this. So I can actually move on to Spawn Manager. Okay.
Now we have an empty game object, and this will be our spawn manager. And then in our scripts, we're going to make a
I
spawn
leaned on my
manager
volume.
script. And then just make sure to click and drag that onto our spawn manager. So now that we know it's been added as a component, so we'll open our spawn manager up. So in our script, we're going to need a reference to our obstacle. So we need to make it public so that we can drop that reference in there. And since it's a prefab, we have to use a game object. And then we'll just call this obstacle prefab for now. And then close that. Now we're going to create another variable, very similar to a variable that we made before. So this will be private, so we can just set it whenever we want inside of our code. It'll be a vector3 because we're doing a position. And this will be the spawn position for our obstacles. And we'll set this to be a new vector3 since we're getting another position. And we'll set it to, let's call it 25 on the X so that it's all the way on the right side of the screen. We don't need it in the air, so 0 on the Y. And then we don't need any kind of depth towards us, so we'll call it 0 on the Z. And then in our start method, we're going to create that prefab once again using our instantiate method. So this way we can create clones or copies of our obstacle prefab. The object that we're going to create is our obstacle prefab, which we listed above. We're going to have it spawn at the position that we set in our variable. And we want it to be facing the same direction that we set it when we created this prefab. So get the obstacle prefab. We're going to get its transform component, and we'll get the rotation of our prefab. So you can see back in Unity, in our spawn manager script, it's updated to have that instantiate method. It's got our variables. So now when we press play, our obstacle should fly at us, and we should create another one. I only see one obstacle. Interesting. So at the bottom here, it says that there was an unassigned reference exception. So this red exclamation point means that it was an error.
So you didn't put your
It says
prefab
that
in?
our obstacle prefab wasn't assigned. Obstacle prefab of spawn manager. So I think actually what happened in our spawn manager, I see. So it didn't actually drag the obstacle prefab.
I think he did that on purpose just for
into
teaching.
the variable. Let me do that really quick. Cool. So now when I press play, now, oh, there you go. So we have two. I wonder if two are just gonna
His is
fly
falling
out
over
of
too.
the
I feel
rest of the
better.
screen. Perfect. So since we're spawning one of our obstacles through code, we don't actually really need this obstacle anymore. That's just about everything it's gonna do. And we're not editing a massive amount, so we'll just remove that. So that way when we press play, it spawns one and it flies at us. Cool. So now what you're going to do is create your own empty game object in your project hierarchy. Call it spawn manager. And then in your scripts, you're going to make a spawn manager script. You're going to add that as a component to the spawn manager game object in our scene. And then in our spawn manager script, you're going to make a variable to get the reference of our obstacle prefab. So it'll be public, so that way we can actually attach a prefab to it. It'll be a game object since it's a prefab. We're going to make a private position that we're going to spawn things at. So we're going to use the coordinates 25, 0, and 0.
Tried to pick it up too soon.
And then we're going to instantiate a new obstacle prefab.
That's where it's at. I
At
don't think
our
it really
spawn
matters where it's
position,
at.
and make sure that it spawns at the rotation that we had the prefab set up before.
Oh, no, it does
And
matter.
then last but not least, don't do what I did and make sure to drag your
Oh,
obstacle
oh.
prefab into the obstacle
The thing
prefab
moved.
section here in your spawn manager script. Now it's your turn.
Okay. Oops. So, look at this. Here. Right? You know, I could just so easy. This does not have to be so hard. I could just look at the coordinates of something else and copy it. Look at that. And now it did that. Why did it do that? What? What did I just click? What is this thing here? That's the ground. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. I think that's good. Now, spawn manager. So, public game object obstacle prefab. Oh, what now? What, it's supposed to be lower? It's supposed to be in there? It's supposed to be here? Is that really it? Ah, made that mistake before. I always make that mistake. I think these are like the same, but I forget that this is separate from your stack of these. So, vector 3, spawn, position equals a new. I think I might have misinterpreted something in this video. We'll see. So, and then here, and created an instance of to instantiate. All right. Obstacle prefab dot transform dot rotation parentheses semicolon, and the curly brackets are already there. So Control S, That's not a good sign. And on my little page here, looks like it's gonna start giving me the same problem it gave me yesterday. When I leave the web browser open for so long on this course, it just like freezes up after so long. Just refresh it. It really aggravated me yesterday because I couldn't get it to go to the next section and I'd finished and I wanted to keep working, but it wouldn't let me. So I just went and did something else. So what's the mistake here? Huh. Ooh. It says use proper, but still use field. I don't see anything different between the two options. Let's see.
Going to spawn things.
Let's compare. So I guess see what's this whole thing say? Cannot be found. You are missing a using directive or an assembly reference. Oops. Does that just mean I need to put something here? No. No. That's not right. So I don't. Okay. Oh my goodness. I put object instead of object. Wow. Yes, dyslexia at its finest. And still didn't fix it. Wait, maybe because I didn't save it? Okay. Minimize. Please. I was staring at that word, not seeing anything wrong with it. Till I did. Okay. Now, where was I? So I have no errors, and I put in the code. Um, Now I'm gonna test it. No, 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 no. That'd be making the same mistake as the person. Now I have to add the object. There we go. Save. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. It looks like it's working, but it only made one. It didn't keep making them. Hmm. Why is that?
Things at. So we're going to use the coordinates 25, 0, and 0.
Let's see their test play.
Create method. It's got our variables. So now when we press play, our obstacle should fly at us and we should create another one. I only see one obstacle.
Yes, we know.
Interesting. So at the bottom here it says that there's a red
Okay.
exclamation obstacle
Okay.
prefab of spawn manager.
Yeah.
Spawn
Drag it in
manager
there and
would
then just play
drag
again.
the obstacle prefab into. So let me do that really quick. So now when I press play, now, oh, there you go. So we have 2. And I wonder if 2
Okay.
are just going to fly at us randomly from the screen. Perfect.
Okay, so mine
So,
did the same
since
thing.
we're spawning one of our obstacles through code, we don't actually really need this obstacle anymore. That's just about everything it's going to do. And we're not editing a massive amount, so we'll just remove that. So that way when we press play, it spawns one and it flies at us. Cool. So, now what you're going to do is create your own empty game object.
Yep. Okay, we're good. Whoa, what is... I don't know why that just popped up. Hold on. It's probably gonna have me log in or something. Why is it doing this? Okay. Yeah, it logged me out. Oh, come on. I was right at the last one too. And now it's just like frozen on the login screen. Seriously? Can I just do this without logging in? I don't just... Everything just reloaded. It just reloaded like really fast. Okay, so I did all that. Now, the last one. Wish me luck. Is this it? Okay. Last one. Can get through this.
Cool. So, now when we press play, our spawn manager spawns one of our obstacles. But we do need it to spawn more obstacles, so that way it's more like a game. So, in our spawn manager script, we're going to set it so that we can actually create all of these obstacles at intervals again. So first what we're going to do is we're going to create another custom script so that we can spawn these obstacles. So we'll call this void spawn obstacle. Make sure you put parentheses, enter, create those curly brackets, and then we already have a line of code to create a new obstacle. So we're just going to take this entire line and we're going to cut it and paste it into spawn obstacle. Now we're going to reuse that method that we used before called invoke repeating. That's not in the right place at all. That's better. So, invoke repeating we'll use to constantly call our spawn obstacle method over time. So, we're going to use the name of our method, which is spawn obstacle. And we're going to give it a time to start at. So in this case, we'll just call this start delay so that we give our player a little bit of time. And then we're going to give it a rate that it's going to constantly repeat at. So we'll just call this repeat rate. And then our computer's mad at us because we actually haven't created those variables. So we'll do a private float for the start delay, since we know that 2 is generally a good number to start at, so you don't really need to change that one around. And then for the repeat rate, we'll just change this in code if we need to. So private float repeat rate. And we'll just have it repeat every 2 seconds as well. Now, if I go back into Unity, you can see that eventually we have these obstacles that spawn, and they fly very fast. Probably change that later. Oh, and then there our player goes. Now, one thing that you might notice, aside
Oh
from
my
all
goodness.
of the obstacles that are just flying away in the distance, is that at some point our player starts to lean over, and that looks kind of weird. A really cool thing that you can do, especially with rigid bodies, is you can see under all of these different options for our rigid body, there's actually constraints. So if we actually open up constraints, we don't actually want
Ha!
our player
Excuse me.
to be able to turn or move
I
in
have
any other
been
direction
wanting
except the
this.
Y. So
Okay.
we're actually going to just freeze the position of the X and the Z, as well as freeze the rotation of the X and the Z. And really, we actually only want the player to go up and down, so that's just the Y position, so we'll just freeze the rotation of the Y too. So now, whenever the
Okay.
player gets hit by an obstacle, they won't turn side to side, they'll just constantly only be able to move up or down. So, if we press play,
I want to see that.
and then if I try and avoid these obstacles as best as I can, and I just jumped over that one.
I kind of
So
like how
then
their
let's see
little
what happens if
feet
we run into
show
one.
up just when
Cool.
they jump.
Just get hit by the obstacle.
Okay.
Nothing happens other than that.
I have no
Don't get
repeating.
these weird tilts that happen or anything like that. So, perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. So, now what you're going to do is create your own variables inside Spawn Manager for the start delay and the repeat rate. You're going to take your instantiate method from start, and you're going to create a new custom method called Spawn Obstacle. So then that way you can just call Spawn Obstacle whenever you need to create a new obstacle. And then we're going to reuse that invoke repeating method
Oops.
that we had before, so that we can constantly call Spawn Obstacle, and it won't start until 2 seconds, and then it'll repeat every 2 seconds afterwards. And then last but not least, you're going to use rigid body constraints to actually freeze everything except the Y position, so that way the player can only move up or down whenever they jump. Now it's your turn.
All right. So, follow these instructions. Gonna work on the Spawn Manager script, right? I want to see this one.
2 seconds, and then it'll repeat.
Okay. Wait, nope. Should have like more space. I mean, not that much. Okay, so private float, start, delay equals 2. Private float, repeat rate equals 2. Then, and start, they are, wait a second. That's like totally different. And that's what it's supposed to do. Okay. Huh? Void spawn obstacle this, And then, so this is just going down there, right? It's like the same line. Or am I wrong? So this, yeah, this word, obstacle prefab, spawn position, obstacle prefab, transform rotation. Yeah, cool. Okay. Why type it if you don't have to? Now, invoke repeating. Did I spell that? Okay. There's so many. I've written obstacle so many times. I'm still misspelling it occasionally. It's start. Did I give it to me? Yes. Okay. And then a repeat rate. Okay. And then that should be it. Says I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Okay. Introduce local for invoke repeating. Oh, there it is. I just spelled repeating. All right. Save. Let's see what happens in the game. Minimize. Let it do its thing. So I created all the stuff. It's already in there and it's already attached to everything. So let's just play and see what happens. Oh, there's another one. And another one. Yay. And another one. And it just goes on and on, my friends. Nope. That was kind of fun. And then the city's gone. So, oh, I'm just pushing him now. That's kind of fun. Okay, stop. All right. Mark is complete. Recap. I'm not logged in, so it doesn't really matter. Oh, lesson recap. What did I learn? I learned a lot. My head hurts. Player jumps on spacebar press. Player cannot double jump. Obstacles in background move left. Obstacles spawn on intervals. Key concepts and skills. Get component, force mode, impulse, physics, gravity, rigid body constraints, rigid body variables, Boolean. It's just a fun one to say. I think because you have to smile when you say Boolean. Multiply, assign, operator, and and the and operator, an on collision event. What's next? We're going to fix that weird effect we created by moving the background left by having it actually constantly scroll using code. Okay, that's in the next one. So, what now? I'm saving this. Save. Oh, no, that's not save. Save. And check the time. Wow, it's 1 o'clock. Want to work on my personal project a little bit. I finalized my, what is it? I have it here. That document I'm supposed to fill out. So, there it is. I figured out where I was confused. So, end of the game will be two ways the game can be ending, right? Either you end up getting too big or you get too small. The goal will be to keep your character just right. So, you're will be a slime. And so I told myself today on my timeline I would finish the project sketch, finalize the gameplay ideas, which I did just by deciding that in game will also be if they shrink. If in game is only if they get too big, it just didn't work. But forcing them to like kind of keep like a middle, I was thinking of having like a slider that they'll see. It's like, oh no, you're about to be too small, or oh, you're about to starve. So, and probably more things gotta go into making it, but just for this project, for learning purposes, I think it's complete idea to move forward. I'm really so that means assets. So I wanted to spend a little time working on assets. I'll probably do my project sketch thing on Canva in my free time later, randomly on my phone. Um, so I gotta think, what assets do I want? Do I want to open that game? I do. So I've saved this. Save it again. Save. And then I'm gonna close it. I'll close this. Oh my gosh, it always makes me so nervous. All right. I got so many things open. Oh, I'm gonna close this code out. Don't want to leave this one open by accident. End up going in like the wrong one, which I've done before. I did that actually just the other day on one of the assignments. So now Unity. Now I'm opening Unity again. And my personal project 2. I'm gonna open it. And I'm gonna take a little break while that opens. Is this it? Yeah. Oh, wait. I had my mic flipped up. Okay, so here it is. Already showing. So, if I'm gonna make this game, I had for assets on my list of to-dos, but I really want to see something move. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I made a folder. Just put this in here. And player controller. Oops. Guess you gotta click rename. Oops. So, player controller. And that can go on the player. Oops. I'm right clicking because I'm running my mouse into stuff. My coffee cup. Okay, so I got the player controller script. And then I'll have a spawn manager item too to create these things. Okay, do these things have bodies? I don't think they have anything, do they? Okay, I'm on player, right. Okay, so player needs a box collider and a rigid body. Okay. No, wait. Should I do sphere collider? Was put in a box collider like so not smart? There it is. Okay. Do they have sphere collider? There we go. There's edit collider. Hmm? It's just perfectly on it, right? Isn't it? Oh, nope, that's the actual item. Is triggered. I don't know what that means. It's got such a different menu than box collider. Maybe I should have just stuck with box collider. This is hilarious. What? Huh. I just want to see both menus. Also, it had like this option too. See, this is what was kind of getting me because it was like none. Oh, okay. Oh, I put one on there. That. Wait, I put the player controller script on the watermelon, not on the player. That's hilarious. Okay, look at this. Right? There we go. And the watermelons do not need to be moving when things are being controlled. So, how do I remove it? You move. Okay. Silly. So it's the player controller. So how am I gonna have them move? With the keyboard and I want them to bounce around and be able to go pretty much in any direction. So, whoops. Okay. So, have them use arrows and spacebar to jump. We'll just do like what I just did. And they could jump around. This is where I get so like, I don't know, I just freeze up. I freeze up when it comes to writing any code for myself. Like, okay. I just want to see an example. Where was this at the very beginning? Oh, this is, yeah. So they just call the rigid body of the character. And then, well, they're having that at start. I'm not going to do that rewriting stuff. So I could use the same thing, I suppose, and just right here. Rigid body. If I have this completely wrong and nothing works, that's okay. So, and then on update, I want them to, I'm just gonna copy. Well, I'm gonna have them move forward. So transform, translate. Character, player rigid body. It still just doesn't click for me. I kind of know what I need to do, but I'm still not knowing how to write it. Oh, if input, so it's got to look for the keys. So, okay. That's what I didn't know. So, if whoa, hello. That was a bring, but I don't see anything in chat. Let's see. Oh, hello. What is that? Oh, Discord. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. If input, and I'm gonna be looking, well, I'm gonna have them jump, so I'm just gonna copy this, but then I'll write another one for arrows. I think I'm actually gonna ask Google for help on that one. But I wonder, does it give you like a list of things you can use? How do you get it to do that? Okay. Input get key down. And then key code space. Actually, no, this is where I want to peek and see if it gives me options. I think it did, but I just was too much in a... Oh, it's like left, right? If I do left, then it's like left arrow. Oh no, horizontal. Horizontal was it for left and right. And then I think, is it vertical for the other? So, okay, I'm going to put this one in I know. Space, making it jump. And then test it. And then I'm going to I just want to do the vector 3. I'm not doing like jump force and all that. Although maybe I should. Doe would be a good one to have. Nah, fuck. Excuse me. I am just gonna like copy all this. It's perfect. So, yeah. And then I'll have to put all this in here too then. A player rigid body stuff. Oh, that's so funny. I'm gonna have it just like the other one in the end of this. But I wanted to do the same thing, so I guess it has to be the same. Get component. Oh, you're not seeing my code. That's weird. Hmm. Where's the window? Oh, there it is. No, that says Gemini. No, that's prototype 3. Which one's this? That's weird. There we go. It said it had it, but it wasn't it. Okay, so player rigid body get component. Wait, that's not gonna make it stay in one place, is it? I don't think so. Oh, no, no, no. It stays in one place because it has no ability to move forward. It's not anything keeping it there except the fact that it has nothing to make it move. Okay, get component. Rigid body. Oops. I don't think I really need to be messing with the physics, but hey, I think I have to if I want to be able to toggle the gravity, which sounds like a good thing to do. Equals gravity modifier. And then that's that. Now down here, did I put this right? Say void update, bracket, and then another bracket. So add force. Vector 3 dot up. And gonna use jump force times. Okay. Jump force. Force mode. Pulse. All right. So, and then um I don't know. That doesn't.
We're going to make a.
Huh? I guess it was right. Haha. Yay! I did figure that formatting out. Okay, save that. And now it should jump when I press spacebar, right? Give me lots of options. There's my options. We need some gravity, of course. I'm just gonna go ahead and put the parameters I found good for the other one. There's 14 and 2. And give this a try. And if they bounce, next I'll... Nope, nothing! Why? What is happening? Oh, some was happening constantly. What is it? What is it there? Is it the space? Hmm? Duh. It was. Is that more than one space now? No. Okay. It's a lot of errors. Okay. Oh, it's still erroring. What is it saying? Oh, oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Oh, it's that thing they had me change. I did not mean to click that. Okay, sorry, I didn't minimize code. Okay, so I need to change the project settings for the player input to use both systems, right? Where is that section? I just fly past it. Yeah, okay, both. Apply. Save. Well, yeah. All part of the learning process. I'm actually going to end stream soon. Let me get this little guy moving around, and that's going to be that. Okay. So, what? Whatever. All right. Now let's see if I don't get errors. Please? Please? Fingers crossed. In! My little slime buddy's moving. And I guess I want to put the camera on them while I'm thinking about it. So we'll just put the main camera on the player, and then I'll see what angle I want to be following them around. I think I need to rotate it. Kind of want it a little closer. I've never put up walls on a game. I need to put walls on this one. He's playing around like an idiot now. Okay. I was originally going for isometric, but I think I want to zoom this in a little. So how do I just get that in there just a little better? So you're really just following the character around. Gonna be following this bouncing character. And I guess you'll bounce with them, so that's gonna be entertaining. Huh? Be like this? That's kinda nice. Like centered. See how that works. Oh, that's nice. Oh, and then yeah, you do keep going up. Which I don't too terribly mind. Oh, wow. Okay, yep. The ground, I don't think has any rigid body or collision. Probably needs that. If you want to be able to stand on it, I don't know, box collider. Is that? And then a rigid body. I'm not sure when you need which, when you only need one, the difference between the two. Huh. Hey, startled me. Yes, I upgraded my character and got a new background. I did not make the background or the character. AI made the character, and there's credits to the artist for the background. Oh no, your aquarium. You had fish? Like, parasites are killing my shrimps, so I catched all of them, and the fish put them in a bucket. Aw, that is sad. And cooked the rest of the aquarium to death. Yeah? Like, how'd you heat it up? Did you just pour boiling water in? Stove? Or you just put it on the stove? Oh my gosh. Boiling water, yeah. Well, well, I hope it works. I remember I had, um, I, I forget what type of fish it was, but it was a really pretty one. And I had it for a long time, and then one day there was a worm hanging out of its gills, and it died, and I was so sad. I stick with goldfish now. It smells fishy in here. Oh goodness. I can only imagine. Good luck with that. What you gotta do is like cook some actual seafood to cover it. Like just make some like something that you like. Fight fire with fire. Seafood with seafood. So my shrimps are pets, not food. I didn't mean cook them. I'm assuming you eat seafood from the grocery store, not the pet store. You got pet shrimps, that's cool. It's too hot outside to be able to keep a goldfish. I had a goldfish pond that a snake came up and decided to eat my goldfish, and I have not restocked it. No, I do not. You don't eat seafood? Perfectly. No snakes around here. Well, can't say that here. It's like snakes, frogs. Um, See, my original game was inspired by me fighting nature in my own backyard. Only three different types in the land that can survive here. Shh. Lucky. Yeah, I think here's like hundreds of types of snakes that can survive. So, yeah. Uh, I'm feeling procrastinatory now. So, yeah. I'm gonna put. Oops, I hit my mic. I'm gonna put the key codes in for arrows. Wish me luck. Because I'm not sure. It's like I'm trying to make myself write this without Googling an example. And it's so hard right now. I'm like, I just want to Google the example. But I feel like I'm not going to learn if I don't try. Yes, thank you. I'll try to be strong. It is difficult. Um, so I think I just put it here. If and then I don't remember writing that exclamation point that's on that one up there. It just changed it on its own. Horizontal, right? And then I would basically do the same thing, but have it do something else. Why is my line all messed up? It's like it changed it. Now I'm confused. Why does it say return here? I didn't put that. I had this there. Why do I want to copy it? Let's see what happens. So return and then like there's no way this is correct. Okay. Then player rigid body. Add force forward. No, it wouldn't be well, no, forward would be the other arrows. So would I be doing the X? Are we doing one of the axes then? I think I'm crumbling. I'm gonna end up asking Google. No. Instead of going straight to Google, maybe I could at least look at one of my other examples from this course. Don't just get fed the answers. What do I need? I'm trying to make it so the player can move with the arrows. Should be really easy, I know. I have them jumping already on spacebar. Now I'm just gonna have them move around with arrows. Yeah. It, I'm not gonna lie, like I get so frustrated with myself sometimes. Um, and it doesn't help. It's embarrassing I can't remember this stuff. The first, wait, you did that wrong though. Ah, really? The first return needs to be exchanged with line 24 and remove the. You know what? I didn't have that originally. I'm not trying to yell, sorry. Um, but it did it like I didn't notice it rewrite it probably me clicking enter at some point. This is how I had it originally. Huh. It's not. Well, we don't want that. Okay. Well, thank you for confirming my suspicion that that was wrong. You want to move the character by adding force? Um, I don't. That's what I was gonna try. I'm not aware of all the options. Then there are some directional stuff. First, you have a horizontal and a vertical movement. Yes. I remember the left and right key was horizontal. I think that's about as far as I got on my own, unfortunately. I gotta fix my character. It's distracting. So, input get access raw vertical. Wait, here? To get values from 0 to 1 for W and S, and horizontal for A and D. So I still have an if in front of input. Input. So you want to translate that to the transform direction of the player. So add somehow you need the transform forward and the transform right. Input get access raw vertical. Okay. I gotta hold on. I gotta pull the chat up on. I have it on another monitor. It's not as easy to see. So where's that little tab? All right, this is much better. Now I have it right in front of me. So all the way back here. So input get access. Um, Scrolling. Where did this start? Okay. Wait. Huh? Sorry. So, ah, oh yes, it is an axis, not an axe. Huh? Axis. Axis. I think it's with the IS. We'll find out. Raw. And then vertical. Don't call yourself that. It's a string. Yes. Okay. So, will I make two like this? Like down here I'll have another if input it's a string. So the value you get from the line is not a if. Okay. It's like that? Or should I say string? I have to say string, don't I? Like that. But no. Float? Okay. Like that? It's not capped. Oh, float forward equals and float side equals. Okay. Oops. And then, so there won't be add force. I'm just scrolling through all this. The blue bracket can be, no, oh, this one right here. $26. Okay. And 27 and 29. Yay. I'm sorry. Wait, probably this one too, right? Move the line 31 to 27. This is already starting to look like something I remember instead of my craziness. Okay. So they don't have to be separated. They can just be like right vertical and horizontal right next to each other. So, let's see. Okay, and you have the two values which you multiply by transform plus transform. Um, I don't understand that. And you have the two. Transform means the direction your game object looks in z-axis. Axis. Okay. And transform right means the direction look in x-axis. So left, right. And z-axis equals forward, backwards. So by adding force in those axes, you move. So I get that. But how do I write that? That's my problem. Can I do like a public float on the force also so I can ingest it on the Spectre? Okay, in the brackets of add force, you add. All right, I'm right there with you. Okay, transform forward. See, can I come? I just want I can copy paste from Twitch chat. Okay, and after that, plus transform right, side, move speed. You mean next line after that? Or like immediately just keep typing? Oh, plus transform right. Okay, no. Dumb question, right? Because it's all one same equation? Or is it? You made typos. You made typos? It's okay. Transform, forward, move speed, moves inside the clamps. All right, just yell at me if I'm doing it wrong. Okay. Transform times side times move speed. Yes? No? Maybe? Hmm? Okay. Let's see what this says. Oh, of course. Transform right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Dot right. You're right. Huh? Hmm? Oh my goodness. I should have one here too, shouldn't I? How could I forget them? Okay. Save. Oh my goodness. Input does not contain a definition of get access raw. Transform does not contain a definition for forward. The name move speed does not exist in the current context. The name move speed does not exist in the current context. Okay. Mm, did I make it exist then? Yeah, can you not hear me? Can, yeah. Oh. Hmm. You don't know if it's right or right? Huh. It is. I have it in lowercase. So maybe it should be capital? Is that what you're saying? Ooh. Well, I was saying, I think lowercase was correct. So when I changed it, it was like, we don't know what that is. Well, it says mood speed. Move speed does not exist, and maybe it's supposed to be capped or not capped in both places, and then maybe I could just make a public float move speed and set it to 10. Well, that fixed something. Yay. So input does not contain a definition for get access raw. Oh, no worries. Forward, forward. Okay. Um, I know it had the code up, but I was actually not in mode. Okay, so sorry, I think there are typos. No, no worries. It's okay. I do it to myself all the time. Okay. Hold on, I need. Okay. Now looking for forward. Here. This one? No, that's not capped. This one. That's not capped either. Where's the capped one at? Hmm. Well, um, let me show you the errors I got. This is input does not contain a definition for get access raw. That one, I don't know. Um, G to G. Ah, yep. It's even written with the get capitalized right here. Cap. I don't see the big F. Oh, here. There it is. It was blending it. Control. Save. Fingers crossed. Okay. I didn't minimize the code. Sorry. I just keep clicking over. But yes, it went away. Let's see if they'll move. Should, should it be working? I think. So jump. And I guess they don't have gravity. Um, I thought for sure, did it reset? No, no, they have two gravity. Why are they just flying off into nothing? Nope. No? Can't work. You did not add a force mode. Okay. What's a force mode? Okay. Huh? After the stuff we wrote, we need a force mode to impulse, accelerate, force, etc. They do different things. You can Google add force mode utility and read it. I will. I will. Thank you. I definitely will. I think I'm definitely need to read it. And I am. Okay, so add force function in Unity is used to apply force to a rigid body, changing its movement speed and direction. It requires a force vector and an optional force mode parameter which determines how the force is applied, such as continuous acceleration or one time. Oh, okay. Hmm, that is interesting. Okay. I haven't thought about how I want him to move in that sense. Like, because you're going to be able to jump and move. Maybe just like a little. See, curiosity gets to the best of me. I'm like, I just want to put both in and see what it. So, ow. Oh man. Just stabbed myself with a pin because I forgot it was in my hair. Okay, so, to make the player stop quickly, increase the drag on the rigid body component in the inspector. Google gave me some weird stuff. Don't do it, stop. I don't I don't think Google actually wants me to learn. Why are you telling me to stop? Hold on. Thank you. Okay. So, I don't know if I should just start reading this out loud. Okay. Add the force to the rigid body. Force is applied continuously along the direction of the force vector, specifying the force mode. Allow the type of force to be changed to an acceleration, impulse, or velocity change. Okay. The effects of the force applied with this function are accumulated at the time of the call. The word accumulated throws me off there. Okay, the physics system applies the effects during the next simulation run, either after a fixed update or when the script explicitly calls the physics simulate method. Because this function has different modes, the physics system only accumulates the resulting velocity change, not the past force volumes, assuming delta time is equal to the stipulation step length. The mass is equal to the amount of the rigid body the force is being applied to. So here is how the velocity change is calculated for all the modes. Okay. Force mode force interprets the input as force, measures in newtons, and changes the velocity by the value of force times delta time. I'm guessing that's what dt means, divided by its mass. Okay, the effect depends on the stipulation, step length, and the mass of the body. Okay. Force mode, acceleration, interprets the parameter as acceleration measured in meters per second squared and changes the velocity by the volume of force times delta time. The effect depends on the stipulation step length, but doesn't depend on the mass of the body. Okay. Sounds like that'd be good for a car. Okay. Force mode dot impulse interprets the parameters as an impulse measured in newtons seconds and changes the velocity by the value of force time. No, not times. What's that slash? Divide? Force divided by mass. The effect depends on the mass of the body but doesn't depend on the simulation step length. All right, and the fourth one. Force mode dot velocity change interprets the parameters as a direct velocity change measured in meters per second and changes the velocity by the value of force. The effect doesn't depend on the mass of the body or the simulation step length. I mean, if I'm choosing between those four, I think the first one, force mode force, would be best because it uses delta time and the mass. So in my I don't know, it just seems like it'd be good to take those into effect. Force can only be applied to an active rigid body. If a game object is inactive, add force has no effect. Also, the rigid body cannot be kinematic. Kinematic. This new one. By default, the rigid's body's state is set to awake once a force is applied, unless the force is vector 3, 0. Additional resources. Add force at position, add relative force, add torque. And then there's an example. This example applies a forward force to a game object's rigid body. Okay. So, if keyboard current key space key is pressed. Huh? Sorry. Now try out. Okay. Well, Okay. Type the first. Wait. Save, press, play, look. What happens? Then the second, save, play, test, and so on. Okay. All right. I'm gonna do this. Okay. Oh. So, I mean, it has. I'm like so lost right now. Because it. Wait, so it's just gonna keep flying? Yes, that's what it was doing. So, I don't even know what are not supported. That has nothing to do with my problem. It's weird. I don't know what that does. Add force, force mode impulse. You have it standing right above in line 23. Yes. I was staring at it, not knowing how to tell it that it has weight. So, force mode. Yeah. And the force mode impulse is adding the force with weight. Your values are too high. Mm. So they're jumping just too strong? Let's see. It's not as fast, but it's still continuously going. In Unity, the jump force. Hmm. Yeah. Wait a second. Could it be? I mean, it was working a minute ago. So, let me try some. Okay, let's. I'm not gonna press the spacebar this time. I'm gonna press the arrows and see if they're working. Okay, it seems to be able to go in all directions and then fall off into the nether. Okay. So, directions are working. Maybe I shouldn't have messed with gravity. Like messing with the gravity physics. Or do I have to maybe drastically apply more gravity? Oh, jump force didn't change here. Oh. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Let's just try this. Make this one. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I gotta remember to minimize that. Okay. Well, it didn't work. It's slower rising. I changed jump force in the inspector to 1. Can it move around while it is it's oh, can I jump? Like get myself back? Just out of curiosity, it's pretty crazy controls. Okay. So more gravity, maybe? It's like I'm thinking I should delete everything that mentions gravity in my code. Controlling that gravity, maybe not the bestest of ideas. You know what? Yeah, I think I should. See what happens. I mean, this won't really matter if I leave that there. It's not doing anything anymore. Okay. Now it should just be unities. Oh, no, guess that's probably, um, Yep, I know you can't see it, can you? Sorry. But yeah, it's just making code. These angry, it's yelling at me. Object reference not set on an instance of an object. I guess maybe I shouldn't have just deleted all that then. Okay, put that back. I just cut it, so we'll just put that back. See if it stops yelling at me. Oh my goodness. Okay, so player. Um, hmm. I don't. Move speed isn't affecting the jump. So, hmm. Wait. I hate. Where is this? Okay. So, I want to see what I was doing earlier. So, I'm thinking maybe. Wait a second. Wait, no. Yeah, in about 3 minutes, I'm gonna have to end this stream. My timer's gonna go off and I have to get going. It's not wanting to load. I just wanted to look at the. Today in my tutorial, I did the whole jump thingy and then I copied it into my personal project. Like, oh yeah, I'll give it the same type of jump. And I'm wondering if I missed something somewhere that mentions like falling back down, like after so long, are you on the ground? Go back to ground. Like, at least it's not too errored to close. And I can work on it some tonight too. I have time. Okay. Let's just go all the way down. As it has you do so many things and then redo them and then erase it all and do something different. Huh. I wonder what would happen if I just took out force mode impulse. Because where was that? Is it here? No. Where was it? I got 5 minutes. I can hit snooze once. It's funny saying that in the afternoon. Where was a little thing? Where's the section before? Because the instructor on this was like, put force mode because it does this thing that makes it just faster.
Box collider, going to make a script, add a rich spacing in the
Where's
direction.
script? Oh, this is.
So now it's your turn.
Or did they?
To assign that rigid body.
So. They did it just by an amount. Okay. So, what if I just copied like that type of thinking? It'd be vector 3 up by just jump force. Yeah, I don't need this. Let's see if that fixes it. Please. Okay. Hey. No. Something's wrong with the plane mesh, but. Oh, now it's not jumping at all. Oh no, it's just a teeny tiny bit because I made it 1. Huh? No worries. I'm about to leave stream. You have fun. Have a fun evening. Final Fantasy 14. Is your favorite one? Like you? Is that your favorite game? Just watch this thing. It just continues to go. All right. So. I don't think it wants me to have a rigid body on this. Definitely. Dude, I removed it. Oh, shit. Oh, no way. Sorry. Oh, nighty night. Played for the last 11 years? Oh, wow. I'm going to be trying the demo soon. I might have played it years ago, but I don't currently have it. Bye bye. Okay, I have 1 minute. All right, I'm gonna end stream. All right, that's it. Bye.